is Friday of our Annotated Bibliography Week. We've talked about how you make the content of an annotated bibliography entry. And as we talked about making the content of an annotated bibliography entry, we have the example here that we created. And if you need a recap on how to make an annotated bibliography entry based on how, once you already have your article, if you need help making the entry once you have the article, you should watch this video. If you need help finding the article, you should go to this video, okay? So if you've missed any day or you need a recap of any day so far, those spaces are going to help you. So our focus today is on the formatting, on getting us from the ideas we have to our final product. You'll notice that today you have an annotated bibliography check-in. I want one entry done by today. So today in our Google Classroom, so today again is that annotated bibliography check-in. You're turning in one entry. That one entry is you turning in one of these completed documents. Today you will turn in one of these completed documents. You'll remember to access those documents. You go to annotated bibliography template storage. You'll need to make a copy of the document and add it to this. So you'll have 5 annotated bibliography templates here because you need 5 articles. Each article makes one entry. So you'll remember from our example with that Homer article, reading Homer through oral traditions, we read that article and we filled this out based on that. So each article makes one annotated bibliography entry. One article is one entry. For your complete annotated bibliography, you need 5 entries. Today, you're turning in one entry. September 23rd, you have all 5 entries due and they need to be formatted. So we're going to look at what that format looks like, and then I'm going to show you how to go from your entry builder to a completed entry, formatted entry. So this looks familiar because this is the same type of thing you did with your senior project proposal, where you fill in your information there. Please remember this is a co-taught class, so you will put Dr. Warren and Ms. Hayes here. So here, this is an example of a previous student's senior project. This senior project was back, I think it was the year I graduated actually, back in 2015. And so back in 2015, these were all within 10-year sources, which is weird to think about, but I'm not very well on that. So you'll notice you have the title of your topic that you're talking about, not your thesis, just the big idea of your topic. So if you're talking about how communication is the single most important factor of business success, you might put communication in business for your title here. If you're talking about how our hairstyles are one of the most important factors of how we perceive ourselves, you might put hair and perception here. Okay, that's just a really, really short kind of summary of the topic you're talking about. And then you just explain why you want to talk about that thing. Okay? So this is just you taking 3-4 sentences to talk about why you're researching the thing. This is a little bit of personal explanation here. Then you have your annotated bibliography entries. So this is one article and this is one entry. This is their second article, so this is their second entry. This is their third article, so there's their third entry. And then the other ones were cut out. Okay? So you'll notice the citation here is double spaced and it has a hanging indent. The content here is not double spaced. It does not have a hanging indent. Okay? Do you have any questions at this moment about what the format looks like for what you turn in on September 23rd, 2021? Okay. So all 5 article entries go here. This is not due until September 23rd. That is fast approaching though, so you will need to make sure that you're using your time well, but this is not what's due today. This is due September 23rd. Today you're turning in one entry. Okay? So you know the bulk of your entry comes from filling out this chart, right? Okay. So, but also, let me give you something that will make your life a smidgen easier, just a smidgen easier. This is going to take us to Galileo, or that's going to take us to the direct source. So I'm going to pause the video while I pull up Galileo. So now we're back at this article in Galileo, and this is just your friendly reminder that as long as you have that title, you should be able to find the article again in Galileo, so make sure you're saving those titles. I know the PDF full text is over there. We already know the abstract, we already read the article, but now we're wanting to make sure we have our citation. We can go over here to Cite. So this is in the same area where we have our permalink, the same area where we have our Google Drive option. And this can help us out. Now this is not always right. I will share with you when I was doing one of my papers in college using Galileo, I guess either I had forgotten or no one had told me, probably I had forgotten, that Galileo is not perfect and its citations are not always accurate, and I had just plugged those Galileo citations in, and the professor definitely called me out in front of the whole class for having inaccurate citations, and I will never forget that. Obviously Dr. Warren and I are not going to embarrass you in front of the entire class. We would never do that. But just so that you know, so you can receive full credit, know that these are not perfect. But what this is a really nice starting point. So I can copy this, and I can go over to this, and I can go ahead and I can put it here. Now notice, when I just copy and paste it, all that formatting is real messed up. So I'm gonna paste as plain text. So I'm gonna go paste as plain text. If you're on a Chromebook and you need to paste without formatting, you hit Control-Shift-V. I need to get rid of this bolding. Okay. And then I know that my titles and oral and tradition is not supposed to be capitalized. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna fix that. Right? Because remember, Galileo is not perfect. Galileo is not perfect. It's running off a computer algorithm, so it misses things. You're a person, so you can catch those things. So I go and fix that there. I also know that I need to go back and re-italicize the journal title, and the volume number, so I'm going to do that. Okay? Well, once I've done that, then I have my citation. And remember, I just double-check that citation to my example I have up here. Remember, I double-check the citation I get from Galileo to what I have up here. So now I'm going to take my citation, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to go down to the bottom, ignore this, and I'm going to take my citation and I'm going to put it at the bottom of this document, okay? And then I'm going to go back into my content that I wrote. I wrote this in complete sentences, and because I wrote this in complete sentences, I get to save myself a lot of time now. So what I do is I grab all of this, I copy it, that's Control-C on a Chromebook, and I'm going to come down here and paste it. I need to paste it as plain text. If I do not paste as plain text, it will include all the boxes. For the people just getting here, don't worry, I am recording this, and as soon as it uploads to YouTube, I am going to add it to our Google Classroom so you can access it. I know that bus situation is making things a little difficult. So again, I need to paste as plain text on a Chromebook. That's going to be Control-Shift-V. On other computers, just paste without formatting. Now, is this how a paragraph is supposed to look? No. Because this was in boxes, it's seeing each of these as having a break between it. So I need to get rid of these extra breaks. Okay, so I just hit backspace. I get rid of these extra breaks. Dr. Warren and I cannot cannot give you credit for your formatting if you don't delete these breaks. And with senior project, a decent or sizable portion of your grade is formatting, as you've seen. Again, I make sure I still have a space after my periods as I get rid of all these extra spaces. Now, because I did paste as plain text, I do have to go back through, and I do have to go and add my italics back again. Okay. So I just go back through, I add my italics in. It doesn't take long. I already know it's italic from earlier. Nope, not that. And I just go through, I proofread real quick, make sure I caught what I needed to catch. I add my italics back in. Again, I'm not having to really do any mental work here, okay? This is just me fixing my formatting because I've already done the work. I've made this into bite-sized portions. Each step is its own thing. Now, this is not the beautifulness that is Times New Roman size 12, so we're going to go fix that. We're going to go to our fonts, Times New Roman, we're going to make it size 12. You're almost done with a complete and beautiful entry. What you're going to do next is you're going to grab your citation. You're going to make sure you have your entire citation. You're going to go over here to your line and paragraph spacing. You're going to select double. And you You have one step left here. After going here and selecting double, make sure you still have your citation grabbed. Only the citation. The content is not double spaced. This is just normal single spaced words. Up here, your citation is double spaced, and then you go to format. From format, you go to align and indent. From align and indent, you go to indentation options. You click indentation options, and you go to special, and you select hanging. Don't change anything else, just go to special indent, go from none to hanging, and apply. This is a complete and beautifully and perfectly formatted annotated bibliography entry. So now what I would do is I would come over here, I'd grab this, I'd go back into my Google Classroom, I go to my final annotated bibliography, and whenever I'm ready to add this, I go ahead and I add it here. I just take it, I drop it in. Okay. Now, when you are all done, you want to make sure they're in alphabetical order. But that's something we'll remind you of next week. But you'll see, we've got an extra space in there that we should get rid of. But you'll see you've got, it's just like that. Okay. So instead of having to look at a blank page, being nervous with a blank page or anything, you've got these boxes you fill out. Straightforward. From what I've been seeing, y'all been doing great work filling out these boxes, going through this accurately. Once those boxes are good and done, you just copy and paste. You do the formatting like we went through. And once you do that, you have your entry done. Remember, you do one of these for each article. You do one of these for each article. So you will have 5 entry builders because you have 5 articles, and you need 1 entry builder for every article. So you'll create one of these beautiful little things for every single article that you have. When you make these entries, that's what goes into your final thing. Today, you're just turning in this whole document. Okay? You need to have the formatted one at the very bottom so Dr. Warren and I can make sure that you're getting that formatted correctly. But this is what you're turning in today is one of these. How many of these do you need total before you turn in your annotated bibliography? You need 5, 1 for each article. You use one of these for every article. I know I'm saying it a lot, but it's to address those questions I'm getting, which are good questions. And again, this is the one that you're able to edit, and you do have that PDF example to always keep going back to if you have any other questions as well. You'll remember also quote storage is your friend. If you want to work on quote storage as you work on your annotated bib, that's great. If you're like, I'll go grab my quotes later, that's fine. Again, my recommendation for as you use quote storage, if nothing else, make sure you're saving your article titles here so you've got them somewhere. I recommend that you drop that thesis we made together, put that thesis up in your header so you can see it easily. And either as you work on your annotated bibliography or later on your own time, as you're reading those sources really closely, you want to start putting your quotes in here. These quotes are going to be what helps us write your topic sentences, helps us write our research papers, okay? Quote storage is your friend. Are there whole class questions over anything we've gone over so far? Again, your annotated bibliography templates, each one of these builds an entry. You'll have 5 of these for 5 entries, 1 entry for each article. You're turning in 1 entry today. Before September 23rd, you'll take those 5 beautifully formatted entries, you'll put them into your copy of this Google Doc, you'll delete the examples, you'll put your own information, and you'll turn that in. Do we feel like we have a good understanding of what we're doing here for our annotated bibliographies? Cool. Again, this video is fixing to be added to, we'll add it to template storage, actually. Okay, we'll put this video in template storage for you, so as you're working on your templates, you can go back and watch this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you have questions, if you're in class, obviously just ask them. If you're watching this from home, go ahead and shoot me or Dr. Warren an email. Our email addresses are all over Google Classroom. Have a good one. Bye.